Hello! Where's my VTuber model? I got it ready. What the hell? Why am I... Hello? Why am I not showing up? Excuse me? What the hell? Okay, sorry. VTube Studio crashed. Interesting. Of course this happens on the stream. Oh wow, it's like not working at all. That's weird. Okay, I'm gonna hit present on this just so that I'm not messing with it. What is wrong with VTube Studio? Why are we not coming up? Hello. I checked this before stream, I promise. I don't know why it's not working. Also, I changed up my little streamer note of who I am, to text this time, just so that I'm not, blocking pictures and stuff. Okay, now I'm here. Hi! So, today we are gonna be yapping about going to ToonFusion. I should probably add a little BGM. Let me do that real quick. I'm just gonna make it our, usual thing. Where is it? Media source, I think. I'm gonna keep it kind of quiet, though. Oh wait, it's not, like, overpowering me. There we go. Oh, a little too quiet. Okay. That should be fine, I think. Alright. We are talking about ToonFusion today, and this was specifically the ToonFusion in Pittsburgh. I have a lot of notes, I have a lot of stuff to talk about, so if you see me looking down occasionally, that's why. I prepared little bullet points so that I remember everything that I wanted to tell you guys about. It was a very great experience. It was so cool, it was so fun. Genuinely one of, like, the happiest days, that I think I've ever had. It was genuinely awesome. So, I have some pictures here for you. I don't have pictures of everything, obviously. But to start, I will tell you a little bit about what I did in preparation for ToonFusion. So, we did not cosplay or anything. There were a lot of people in cosplay, and I will talk about that, like, at the end of the stream, because there were some really cool cosplays that I wanted to yap about a little bit. But we didn't cosplay, we just went in our Hazbin merch because they, the main reason we went to ToonFusion was because they had a big chunk of the cast from Hazbin Hotel, which was really cool. Who else was there? There was Joel, who plays Valentino. There was Amir, who plays Alistair. There was Blake, who plays Angel Dust. There was Christina, who plays Cherry Bomb. And there was one more. Who am I missing? Oh, Christian, who plays Vox. So those five were there, and then there was also Richard Horvitz, who plays a lot of different characters, but we know him mostly from Hell of a Boss, which is like the sister show to Hazbin. And also Lizzie Freeman was there, who voices a lot of different characters. The main one that we're watching right now is The Amazing Digital Circus. She plays Pomni, but she also plays, I forget the name, but there's a character in The Promised Neverland Season 2 that she plays that we really like. And there were a couple others as well. She does a lot of voices. So, we get to meet all those cool folk, and I will talk about them individually soon. But first, I will tell you about something that I prepared, which was I made gifts for them. You have to ask or check in, I guess, with your local con, whatever con you plan on going to. Sometimes guests will accept gifts, and sometimes they won't. Either it'll be in the con rules, or sometimes it's just like up to the personal discretion of the person. But everyone was accepting gifts this time, so it was very cool. Originally we were gonna make them keychains with our art of their characters, but then the keychains like didn't work out, so we did magnets instead, and I will talk a little bit about it later. I didn't add a picture of the art. I don't really know why I didn't do that. I was considering it on the on the PowerPoint, but I didn't do that. I'll probably post it at some point so you guys can see it. But we did little chibi art of all the characters of the people that we got to meet. So that was fun. It was a little stressful with the keychain thing. I was so stressed. It was like the night before. I was like, oh my god, these keychains aren't working. Why aren't they working? And so then I ordered magnets, and I picked up the magnets, and the magnets were all good. All right, so I ended up having to leave the house really early because we don't live in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is quite a drive, so we had to get up really early to go down there. My dad went with us, so that's who we went with. There was nobody else there. It was just me and our dad. Me and our dad having bonding time, because he actually watched Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss with us. So it was kind of cool because he got to meet the people too. He didn't do very much talking though. I think he was nervous. He never talked unless he was directly spoken to first. So we got there and we like parked in the parking garage or whatever, and we went to the convention center. And the funny thing about the convention center was that they were having another event at the same time as ToonFusion. So the event that they were having was this like little girls like princess meeting thing. So as you see a bunch of like Hazbin and Hell of a Boss and anime and like murder drones cosplays and everything like just walking around, you would also see these like little tiny like little girls in their little princess dresses. It was so funny to me. And we actually got in the elevator with a couple who was taking their 2 daughters, and they were like, oh, I bet you're going to the princess meeting, aren't you? And we laughed about that. So we got to see a bunch of little kids. It was such a funny like dichotomy. Like those 2 things do not go together. But they were on opposite sides of the convention, but we could still see them like walking around. It was funny. So then you go in line and you get your little badges or whatever, and then they also give you like an advertisement card for their next ToonFusion thing, which is happening in December, and I might go to that one too. Just because they had some more Hell of a Boss people there, and then they also had wrestlers, and my dad likes wrestling, so we might go again in December. I don't know yet. As soon as we like got through that line, it wasn't too long. There was a lot of people there, but they got through it really fast and stuff, and they did like prop checks and stuff for people who had cosplays with like fake weapons and stuff, just to make sure nobody brought in anything they weren't allowed to. Then we went into the big convention center, and the convention area is just like a huge room. In some conventions and stuff, they have hallways and different areas for different panels and stuff like that. The areas were like defined, but it was just in one like giant open room. So my dad and I walk in, and when you walk in, to the right, there's the main stage, which is where all the panels and stuff take place. And they have a bunch of chairs and stuff for the people who want to watch the panels. Then in the center of the room, they have all of the booths and stuff where you can buy merchandise from different artists. There were some, like, booths that were not art related. It was like, they were selling, like, tabletop games or like trading cards, things like that. I do also know that they had some like trading card meetings, apparently, like group meetups, and they also had some for cosplays, but I didn't see any of those going on. I know they were on the schedule, but I didn't see any of them myself, so I don't know where those were taking place. Then all around the edges of the convention center, especially along the back wall, are where all of the like celebrity guests are. And so we walk in, and at first there's like no lines because we got there like right when it opened, so we didn't have to wait for anything. And I was so nervous. I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god, these are like my big time idols and I'm gonna meet them and I'm gonna give them my art. And so I was very, very nervous to meet everybody. The first person that I met was Joel. And he voices Valentino. So Valentino is one of my favorite villains. I really like extremely morally reprehensible villains. I am someone who enjoys dark storytelling and stuff like that. Obviously, don't love like what the character does, for sure. I'm very much someone who believes you should not support fictional characters' wrongs, even though they are fictional. But as far as villains go, I think Valentino is a very well-crafted villain. So I was stoked. I was so excited to meet him. And he's also one of my favorite VAs in general. I follow like his TikTok and stuff. So it was surreal and also very scary that he was the first person we got to meet. When you see the red splotches on the crossed out parts on the autographs, that's just our name because we got them made out to us. So I didn't want to put our real name on the spot like that. So I was very nervous. We were wearing like I said, Hazbin merch, and the shirt that we have was actually from the pilot era. I know you can't see it because I blocked myself off with Retro Multi here, but we had that shirt on from the pilot era of Angel Dust, and he complimented our shirt. He was like, I like it because Angel is wearing Valentino's glasses in it. It was like their summer release or something during the pilot era. And then we got our autograph, and then I was so nervous. I was so nervous that I walked away without getting my picture. I like completely forgot, and I walked away from the booth, and then I froze, and I looked at my dad and I said, Dad, I forgot to get my picture. We already paid for it, and I was like, oh no. But then we went back to the booth, and they were very nice about it, and the handler was like, oh gosh, you did get the combo thing. I'm sorry, I should have stopped you. And I was like, no, I just shouldn't have walked away. I don't know why I walked away. I was scared. I was scared. My mind was going too fast for my self to remember what I was supposed to be doing. So I got my picture in the end, though. Some of the VAs and stuff didn't open the gift that I gave them, like, at the table, which was totally fine. We had them in envelopes, so I think some of them might have thought they were, like, letters and stuff. So we did not get feedback about that, but he was super nice. He was so cool. It was awesome. Then we went over to Christian, who voices Vox in the show, and I don't have a picture with him, but he was sweet, and he has like memes and stuff about him about being like goofy and like awkward and like in a good way, and that is definitely how he is. I gave him my gift, and he was like, of course I'll accept gifts, because I made sure to ask, just in case. I made sure to ask everybody to make sure that they actually accepted gifts. He asked like what I was looking forward to, and I was like, oh well, I'm here to like meet the Hazbin VAs and the Amazing Digital Circus, and I'm gonna go see the panels for Hazbin and the Amazing Digital Circus. And then he goes, what time is the Hazbin one? He didn't know. It was like, it's at 2, and he was like, thanks, I needed that. Which I thought was really funny. He was just out of the loop. Very in character. Then we met Amir, who voices Alistair, obviously from the print, and I just got an autograph from him. He was very nice. He was one of the ones who did open our gifts, and he said it was awesome, and he put "You Rock" on my on my autograph, which I didn't ask for, but I enjoy. Because, like, quotes a lot of times will be, like, or, like, messages or whatever, they'll be a little bit extra, so I didn't get any of those, but he put "You Rock" on mine. And he also had, like, a voice changer with him. He didn't use it, like, the whole time, but he could use it for, like, when he was doing, like, Alistair quotes and stuff for people. And there was a kid in front of us who asked him if he voiced Peter Griffin, which was kind of crazy. Peter Griffin from Family Guy, and he was like, no. He was like, no, I do not. I would have many more people coming to my table if I voiced Peter Peter Griffin. And then after Amir, I can't remember which one was next. It was either Blake Roman, who voices Angel Dust, or Richard Horvitz. I'm thinking it was Blake. Because I think he was sitting right next to Amir. Oh, wait, what? These are out of order. Sorry. Because Amir's right in the background. He's literally signing something. So, it was definitely Blake. Blake is one of the sweetest people you will ever meet. He was so nice. He used, like, pet names for everyone, which I thought was fun. But also I was like, about getting pet named. Angel Dust is my favorite character in Hazbin, and he's also probably my favorite character out of literally any character that exists outside of my own little characters, because obviously my own little characters come first. But Angel Dust is genuinely one of my favorites for sure. So I got both an autograph and a picture with him, and he also opened the gift. He said that we are very talented, and he had, like, any gifts that he received, he put it at, like, the front of the table so everyone could, like, see each other's, like, art and stuff. I thought that was really cool. There was one that was, like, a poster that said crack is expensive, and that one made me laugh. And so then, after that, we got our picture, and I thought it was really nice. He asked consent before he put his arm around me, which was nice. Obviously, I don't expect people to do that at cons and stuff. I just thought it was an extra polite thing to do when people do that. It's good for people who are, like, need those accommodations too, because I know there's people with, like, neurodivergencies and stuff like that, or trauma or whatever, and that don't want to be touched. I was very accepting. I was very accepting of anyone putting their arm around me at this. I was so excited. So after we got our stuff with Blake, we went and sat down for the panel, and I'm sorry that I have, like, people in the way, but I couldn't, like, crop them out, because there's, like, I tried to show the area, you know. I did try to crop out, like, any con-goers and stuff in other pictures, but this one I couldn't. So there was, like, a panel lady that did all the panels. She, like, talked back and forth with the voice actors or the celebrities that were on stage. She was super cool. She explained all the rules, because there are sections after they, like, get done with the main part of the panel where you can ask questions. So she explained, you know, general things like be nice and don't talk about shipping and being weird. And she had, like, really good questions for them and stuff too. She ran the panel really nicely. We started with the Amazing Digital Circus panel, as you can see. The Hazbin panel was later. So only Lizzie Freeman was there, who is the voice of Pomni, and Mike Kovac, who voices Jax, was supposed to also be there, but he got sick. It was very sad. But it was very cool to hear all the things that Lizzie had to say. Things, like, that I specifically remember from the panel was someone asked her if she could sing part of Daisy Bell, and she did that. And she also talked about how she really relates to Pomni as a character. She was like, I'm also a little bundle of anxiety, and I was like, damn, I'm relating a little too hard to Lizzie Freeman. And then I was one of the people who went up and asked a question on the mic, which was very nerve-wracking, because all these people are, like, watching you and listening to you ask the question. And I don't have a video of it, but she, I think it's on YouTube somewhere, but I didn't want to, like, rip someone's video, you know? So I didn't do that, but there's a video of it somewhere, and I asked her who she thinks Pomni would choose as a roommate if she had to choose a roommate at the Digital Circus, and she said Zubul, because Zubul is the most chill character. And I think I agree. I think I would either choose, I mean, obviously Pomni couldn't choose Zubul, or Pomni couldn't choose Pomni because of that. So barring Pomni, I think either Zubor or Gangle would be my choice, because Kinger's a little crazy. I feel like Jax would bully me to all hell, so I relate. After the panel was over, my dad was starting to get a little hungry because we didn't stop and eat breakfast or anything. So we went out to where they were serving food. It was like outside of the main convention room, and I don't know if they didn't realize how many people would be there or not, but they ran out of a lot of their food first. I wasn't hungry, but my dad went up first, and he was like, "I'm gonna get chicken tenders." And then they were like, "We don't have chicken tenders anymore. We don't know when we're getting the new ones. We have no ETA." So he was like, "Oh, okay. I'll go get a soft pretzel." And then he got in line, and the lady in front of us took the last soft pretzel. And so then he looked at the other food, and there was tacos in a bag or hot dogs, and he was like, "I don't want either of these." So we ended up just getting a cookie. And he did share a bite with me. The cookie was good. It was a little overpriced for a cookie, but that's what he had for lunch. I felt a little bad, but it's okay. They were trying their best. He could have just gotten something else. He was just being picky. So after we did the cookie fiasco, we went back in and we saw Richard Horvitz, and he also opened the little magnet that we made for him, and he said it was really cool and that he was gonna put it on his fridge when he got home. I told my dad that he should talk to Richard because, unlike the others, he actually grew up with some of the, shows and stuff that Richard voiced in outside of Hell of a Boss, because he voices Moxie for Hell of a Boss, but he also voiced, Billy from The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and I was like, "Dad, you should tell him," and he wouldn't. I think he was too nervous. Then we lined up for Lizzie Freeman, and her line was so long. It was definitely the longest line at the convention for sure, and we had to wait away for so long, but it was so worth it. She is genuinely one of the sweetest people I have ever met in my whole history of ever meeting people. Not even just with celebrities. She's genuinely so sweet. So when we gave her the gift, I mentioned that we had also made one for Michael, but he wasn't there. And she was like, "Oh, I'll take it and I'll give it to him," which I thought was really nice. She had a little pile of gifts that were meant for Michael that she was going to give to him. And then she opened hers, and she really liked it. And she asked if she could get a picture of me with her phone, which is kind of crazy. She was like, "Can I get a picture of you holding up the magnet so I remember who gave it to me?" Which I would so do if I was a creator and I got big enough to have people coming to conventions and meeting me and giving gifts. That is so something that I would want to do too, because I would remember it all and really keep it in my brain, So I said yes, obviously, but now Lizzie Freeman has a picture of me in her phone, and I think that's a bragging point. We also got a picture with her, obviously. Then we went over to the panel area. We literally waited in line for over an hour, but so by that point, it was time for the Hazbin panel to come soon. And we actually got over to the seats. Sorry, that picture kills me every time I see it. We went over to the seating area during the ending part of the Ed, and Eddie panel that they were having. Me and my dad never watched Ed, and Eddie, but we just wanted to get seats early because there were a bunch of seats that were open during that panel, so we just went and we snuck into the second row and we sat down and waited. And then the Hazbin panel started, and I don't know what art they have there. Yeah, I know. Alistair's face, Alistair, Charlie, and Husk's faces were slightly terrifying in those pictures. I don't know why they're making those faces, but that's the picture that they used to introduce the panel and to back it. And so the lady came out and she did the same spiel basically that she did with the Amazing Digital Circus. And then we listened to the whole panel, and some of the things that I noted to explicitly mention were, number one, Blake and Christian grew up around Pittsburgh. One of them Blake was from Erie, Pennsylvania, which isn't, like, super far from Pittsburgh, and then Christian actually grew up in Pittsburgh, so he came to his hometown for the convention. I thought that was cool. And they had beef with Amir, because Amir, not real beef, but Amir had, like, made a joke about, why would you willingly go to Pittsburgh, and Christian was fake offended about it, which was also very in character for Vox and Alistair's voice actors, if you know their dynamic in the show. Then they were also, like, during the panel, they started, like, cuddling each other, which I think is really funny. They do this in a lot of panels, actually. They are such a close cast, and I really love seeing casts that are actually like that. Because a lot of times casts don't actually get to interact with each other a whole lot, and I've heard that the Hazbin cast actually, like, during recording and stuff doesn't either. But they're still so close. They're all, like, they all present as, like, close friends and stuff whenever they're having these panels together. So they, like, pushed their chairs and the benches and everything together. I have a picture of it, but it was on my dad's phone. He didn't send it to me yet. Slightly offended. I wanted to show you guys them, but they were doing that for, like, most of the convention. They were all, like, cuddled up and, like, stacked on each other. At one point, Blake took off his shoes. He had the dogs out for free. Not the dog. He had socks on, but he had the dogs out. I was like, what is happening? They're so chaotic. And then, obviously, they answered other questions and stuff, and they had some audience questions, but they didn't have a line like how they did for the Amazing Digital Circus, because they were running out of time, and there were so many people that wanted to ask questions. So the lady that was hosting the panel, she just kind of went around and, like, grabbed random people from the crowd who were raising their hand. So we didn't ask a question there. Then afterwards, they all took, like, a stage picture, and then they were like, hey, we have photo ops going on over here. And this is the only thing I have to say negative about the con, and it's not on the voice actors at all. It's not really on anyone. I just slightly disliked this part. So they had this, like, photo op set up. They had, the con itself had commissioned this, like, big blow-up Hazbin hotel thing. Okay, so they were having photo ops there after the panel was over, but they were, like, over $200 for one picture, and I was like, that's a little much, because if you look at how much money it costs to get a picture, it was like $30 per VA, right? That comes out to, with 5 voice actors, it comes out to, like, $150, I think. And so it was kind of odd that was, like, almost 50% more, you know, when it's, like, all of them. But I think that was also part of it was because the convention itself had pricing on just taking pictures in front of the inflatable thing. Like, by yourself, you had to pay for it, which I thought was a little bit not fun, but that's okay. After that, we went and we circled back to Christina's table because she wasn't there the first time that we went around, because we started at the, like, very beginning. She wasn't there yet, so we got her after the panel was over, and she thought the magnet idea was cool, and she also said she would put it on her fridge. I didn't get a autograph or picture with her. And then after that, we went around and we shopped at the little markets, and so I got to spend more of my parents' money. It was an expensive day. However, I never did anything for my 21st birthday, and I didn't get really, like, gifts for my 21st birthday, so they were like, we'll pay for it because of your 21st birthday, which was in July. So we got stickers first, and the names of the businesses, I made sure to put their cards here because I think their art is really cute. So the first one is a popsicle version of Lucky from Animal Crossing, and the other one I just thought was funny. With the little clown mouse, the horrors are never ending, yet I remain silly. I actually follow the Little River Rat artist now because they had a bunch of stickers that I thought were really cute and that I wanted, so at some point I might order more. They have very much the same sense of humor that I do. The other artists also has some really cute stuff, so just a small plug, go check them out. And then the other two things that I got gift-wise were a Valentino shirt. I don't know the artists for either of these because they didn't give me business cards. Like, these guys gave me the business cards, which is why I included them in the picture, but these guys didn't give me business cards, so I can't shout them out, but I really like their stuff. Obviously the Valentino thing is a shirt, and then we have a jackrabbit, or a jackalope, whichever one you're gonna call it, and the little dragon. The dragon's name is Ceruleus, based on the color cerulean, like blue. And then I named the jackalope, I named him Jaxalope because of the thing. The with Jax's voice actor not being able to go. It was like in honor of him. Those are all my pictures. So there were like a ton of vendors there. There was a lot. It was very hard to decide on what to get. I actually wasn't sure if I was going to get the jackrabbit, but I decided to because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna circle back, and after I'm done looking at the other booths, if he's still there, I'm grabbing him. And he was still there, so it was fate. Fate told me to get him. Okay, and then just some cosplays that I saw that I wanted to talk about. There was a really cool, I forget the name of the character. It's the little skeleton guy in Owl House. Or Skull Guy, whatever you want to call him. Who is it? King. And, the cosplayer, yes, King. They had squeaky paws, and I thought it was so cool. They, like, 3D printed the skull part and stuff. It was very interesting. And then there was also two cosplayers that were cosplaying together that did gender-bent Vox and Alistair cosplays, and they have these, like, very intricate Victorian dresses that were really pretty. Then there was also a really cool Ragatha who had, like, a little, like, button over her eye and stuff. And then there were a lot of cool cosplays from Murder Drones, which I don't watch, so I don't know any of the characters' names or anything, but there were a lot there that were, like, very intricate. And then there was a Vox cosplayer who had a TV head that had, like, an actual screen of Vox's face on it, and it would change and stuff. Like, it was animated, but it also had, like, different expressions and everything, which I thought was really cool. I have no idea how that works. And then the last cosplayer that I wanted to mention was, there was a Luna cosplayer, and it was, like, very realistic. Like, it looked just like if you, like, plucked Luna out of the show. Luna from Hell of a Boss. So, yeah, those are my words about... my yappage about ToonFusion. And this turned out to be a shorter stream than I thought it was going to be, not going to lie. I don't think I'm going to stream anything after this, though. I kind of want to. Should we do another stream? Should we raid into another one? I don't know what we would play, though, is the problem. What's on my schedule? Let me see what I added for my schedule, and then we'll think. Let me see. Where is it? Okay. Yeah, we're playing Identity 5 tomorrow, Picardo on Wednesday, Baldur's Gate 3 on Thursday. I don't want to do anything that's, like, that people wouldn't know about. Yeah, the TED Talk. I don't want to do anything that's, like, super important. could do like an achievement run possibly. I just don't know what we would do. I think, let me see. I need to see what I even have listed in my achievement run folder. I have a little list of the ones that I still need to do achievements on. Maybe do that if I'm feeling up to one of the games. Where is it? Could also just play Baldur's Gate, but I think some of these are going to take like a long time, and I don't want to do anything that's too long since we're already streaming for like 40 minutes. Bed scene. It's in the twilight. I think I'm just gonna open up a Baldur's Gate stream in a moment, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream and then make another one in like 15 minutes. So thank you for watching. Thanks for listening to me yap about my very happy day, and I will see you guys in a little bit if we're coming to the Baldur's Gate one, or tomorrow if you're watching that stream, or whenever you next see us. Alright, goodbye.